You want to know how to get your legal house in order. What happens to the assets of migrants or immigrants that are either detained for extended period of time or just deported? And then another question here is you want to know, how do you move to another country? What documents you need, especially if you're going to be traveling without your kids or your children's father. Now, as to the first question regarding the property and assets, this is where it's a great idea if you are a mixed status or your status isn't necessarily certain here in the United States, that you get what's called a power of attorney, a general power of attorney letter. You find someone in your social circles or your family who you trust for knowing your private information, and that person essentially, they don't have to be an attorney. That's just called power of attorney letter, but they stand in your stead. So for example, if I was your power of attorney, I would be able to go to the bank and to both make withdrawals and deposits based on your name. I can engage with your landlord, or you own a property in your house, I can sell it, I can do all those things because I'm standing in your stead. Now, if you have children, you might want to also get a HIPAA release, and that's like the Health Information Privacy Act, so that I can also be allowed to get health information regarding your child in case I need to take your child to the doctor or there's some sort of medical emergency. They will know that it's okay for them to release test results, for example, to me. Similarly, if there's any school releases, you might want to get school release forms done. Now that's the type of stuff that you need to do to get your house in order if you're in mixed status or you're concerned. Now, separately from that, have this document you filled out uploaded to the cloud so the person can access it and they know the moment's notice they're going to step in your stead. You can get that document by an attorney to file for it. I often recommend that you, if you can, you have the resources, get an attorney. They pay between $5,000 and $10,000, what's called a retainer. That lawyer has that money in hand just in case you need to call them for emergency. They can just draw down from the retainer you've already deposited with them. Now, if you follow my account, my name is JJ Legal. On here on social media, I'm helping people understand the various different lawsuits filed against the Trump administration. And one of the things that I have seen is that there are people, Adrian Gil Rojas, for example, is a big example, where because he had a lawyer on standby, that lawyer was able to make a phone call quickly and make some emergency filings to save him from being deported to CCOT accidentally. There also are agencies, nonprofit organizations that have lawyers on standby. So with your name, your date of birth, those lawyers can go quickly find out where you are in the system and maybe act on your behalf. So know these organizations, sign up, alert for them, and register them if you can. So that's the first thing, if you don't have the resources for your own. Now, a lot of people don't have $10,000, $5,000. I understand. The alternative solution, I have two. One is there are free resources online. You can use AI, which is artificial intelligence, to put together using free resources and get the general power of attorney letter, get the HIPAA release, get the child release, all that information set for you. And the thing about it is, though, there's certain nuances and specific like idiosyncrasies and special things related to each state, and so that's why it's a great idea to have a lawyer to do it for you. The other alternative, to get a nice lawyer crafted letter, consider getting USA Legal. I partner with them. I've used them before. I went to USA Legal. It's a subscription service. You can type in your state and they'll bring down all these documents for you and you can just adjust it. So that's what I did. I put together a packet of legal documents for my family and friends, made it simple, easy to understand, and I made that available. So some folks have asked and I was like, oh yeah, sure, I can sell it to you. I make that a part of my website. So if you go to jjlegal.com/templates, you can find a link to USA Legal in case you want to do it yourself. Sign up for the subscription service, do it yourself, or you can get the one that I created for my families, which I charge $97 for. Now that is that should be enough. So you have all your documents in order. You've signed up for the free services if you can afford it, and if you qualify and set up with them, or you get yourself a lawyer on retainer. So those are the options regarding keeping your house in order. Now, if you want to move and you're ready to leave and you are not, children's father's not going, here's what you need to do. Now, you want to move out of the country with your children, so long as the father of the kids is okay with it. You get a consent letter. The consent letter should have their name, the dates of travel, the destination, all the details. You should also have your kids' passports, their birth certificates, any letters or documentation related to their schooling. So for example, wherever country that they're going to end up in may have certain things that they need from your children's existing school or schooling situation if they're homeschooled. Gather all that information now, so when you go to sign them up and enroll them, when you take them to the next country, they'll have everything they need. So you can do that research by calling or find out what you need. So the documentation the school's going to need, the passports, the birth certificates, a letter from the spouse saying it's okay, and then finally any custody agreement or arrangements or documents you may have to verify that you have sole custody of them. Now, if the father of the kids not in the picture, you don't know where they are, you're estranged, you have that document from the court saying you have sole custody. If there is a portion of the custody order that has language related to the fact that you are estranged, like you don't know where the children's father is, that document, that portion of the document needs to be highlighted and brought to the forefront, because travel officials may require that to prove, because you probably are aware there have been many cases in the past when a parent has abducted and taken a child that they have partial custody of or without permission of the other parent, and they are nowhere to be found, and they're just gone. They've absconded from them. So because of those things that happened in the past, the system, the courts, the systems that oversee children in custody usually require and put the burden on the airlines to make sure that any child that's traveling, especially to another country with one parent, has explicit authority or the rights under a court that says that they can do that. So those are the things you need to have set before you travel. Now, if you don't have a lawyer, there are offices, agencies, organizations in various different states, family law, that may be able to help you, especially if you don't have the funds to hire a lawyer. And it's, there's pro bono services. You probably have to fill out a form, give some information about your finances, and if they approve you, they can go about helping you secure all these documents that you need and getting the letter signed and looking at it, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and make sure that you're all set and ready to go. So that's what you need to do if you're going to be leaving the country, and I don't blame you with your kids. Good luck, and I hope that's helpful for you. Now, for everyone else, again, like I said, if you are in a mixed status household or mixed status family, or you're aware of family members or friends that have varying level assets of status, again, I recommend they get a power of attorney letter, identify someone who they trust, get this power of attorney letter. Usually it needs to be notarized and maybe have a witness, and take that version of it and upload it into a cloud where everyone can access it. Make sure if it's on a Google Drive, for example, that you've sent the email access. It'd be horrible if you created that document and said no one else can access it, and then they go try to link it and they don't, it's locked. So make sure it's unlocked, or you give access to whoever it is that needs to have this information, and make sure everyone knows their job, their role, in case stuff goes down, you can handle it. And so if you have property and you have assets, the person who you've assigned as your power of attorney, they'll be able to sell it or do whatever. Now, in the cases where that hasn't been done and there's just property out there, I'm not quite sure what happens. I'm assuming that goes within the dominion of the state, of the jurisdiction, and they manage those assets and those properties. I don't think they give it away or give access to it at some point. If there is a family member, I'm assuming a lot of folks that are sent off or detained have some sort of family or connections around that could make a claim for them, and perhaps communicate with them outside if they're not in detention, back in their home country, and make some arrangements to get back their assets and things like that that's been left around. So in order to avoid having to do all of that, the best thing to do is get your legal house in order as soon as possible. Again, my name is JJ Legal. I help everyone understand the lawsuits filed against the Trump administration. If you'd like to get access to the database at USA Legal, it's a partner, so full disclosure, I'll get a commission if you sign up for them. That's what I use personally. Or you can get my own document that I created for my family members. They're already set. It's customizable. It's easy to access. It's easy to read. You're going to understand it. So that's a nice middle ground in case you don't have $10,000 or $5,000 for a retainer. And you don't want to risk it with getting something from AI. That's a sure bet to get, and it's just $97. So maybe worth it. All right, JJ Legal. Each one teach one. Share this document. Share this video. Share this information with other people in your social circle, in your sphere of influence. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check this out here. I have other documents, other videos related to helping you understand and survive Trump. Outlasting47.com.